All right. Good evening, guys. It is my pleasure to welcome you to our live session this evening. So once again, I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, and we're here to bring it on the chat. First up, um, how's your week been? So Abdul, Promise, George, and Johnny, welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you. Yeah.
Actually, my week is, let me say, is oh man, like just still recovering from the drawback of last week or something. So I'm still holding my shade. So not so much to say on it.
Hmm, interesting. Um, so I think you still have like your GPY trades running, right?
My deep price trades running. So actually, but the drawback is moving to my break even back. So still holding.
Interesting. Okay, that's fine. Um, Promise, George, how's Johnny? How's the week going?
Yes,
It's
I'm
Uh,
still
been
holding
good.
the. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
going well. I'm still holding the. You.
George, go ahead.
Yeah, please. I said it's okay. I'm still holding the USD CHF. It was in the drawdown today, so I was kind of watching it more, but it's back to entry level though. So we are hoping.
We'll speak about USDCHF in a bit. But so far
Yes,
so good.
yes, yes.
Promise, go ahead.
yeah, my week has been okay. Just a little bit of recovering. Wasn't feeling too well. But I'm recovering. But all in all, it's good.
Are you feeling any better?
Sorry?
I said, are you feeling any better? You said you're trying to recover.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, that's fine. I'm happy to have you, Johnny. Um, how's your week going?
Um, it's been all right. Uh, you know,
All right,
think
that's
so.
cool.
Yeah, I took a couple trades this week, but I didn't. It was my fault that I got stopped out. 'Cause I didn't really follow my plan, so that's one of the problems.
Yeah, I hope you have that in your journal though.
Yeah, I've been trying to uh keep I've been trying to stay consistent with that.
Okay, I think we'll speak about that privately. All right.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So welcome guys. So I think we'll just dive straight into the chart and see what we have for the week. Week has been pretty interesting, I'd say. So okay. Let's see. So please can you guys see my screen? Just making sure.
We can see it.
Oh,
Yes, we
okay,
can
cool.
see it. Yes.
All right, that's cool. Okay, so yes, like I said, the week has been pretty interesting. So first off, I think the week started pretty cool. For the JPYs, we saw an insane push to the upside, which has pretty much retraced back to break even. So this is AJ. Now, not much has changed in terms of the structure because we're still like sitting around this level of support. So still around level, and the Australian dollar is very weak at the moment. So I'm not really betting on that guy as we speak. But we might still see upside continuations. Now, I don't really have any interest in buying or selling ADJPY whatsoever, at least not now. I do hope that if price would break out of this key level, then I'll become interested in looking out for buys. The JPYs are still pretty much the same since our last update. CAT JPY also bounced here. We moved pretty nicely. CHF JPY is just above break even. Now we have tested this support level, and so far we are staying above it. We're maintaining the level of support, which is cool, which is very cool to see. So remember, guys, I'm long on CHF JPY, and I have been long since September of 2024. Now that's been some time, right? It's been some months since I bought CHF JPY. Now again, I didn't really have any reasons to close the trades. My technical levels are still there, up there, and it's just to wait and see how the trade pans out. Euro JPY made some progress from this support level, right? So yeah, price came down here, found support and bounced. But again, we see that this key level is acting as resistance, which is not exactly surprising. This is a range. I think we've pointed that out for quite some time, and the market has continued to play within this range. And since that is the case, I do not really see the best opportunities for Euro GPU at the moment. Now, I'll need price to break out either to the upside or to the downside. I personally am leaning into the upside for more bullish continuations. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But like so far, as of this moment, I don't think Euro GPU has anything to offer me, especially. So what was my plan? It's still the same, right? Wait for the breakout, then take buys on the retest in order to continue the overall trend. So we'll see how that pans out. Now, if price will break out of this level, it will be very interesting because we know it's a key level. That's acted as resistance and as support countless times in the past. So now it's acting as resistance, but if it does break out, then we might be having a clear support on our hands. Moving on. Pound GPY in profit. So far so good. So again, I look back and I see that we kind of used pound GPY as a case study. We waited for the breakout. It happened in September, right? And we hoped for a pullback. It did pull back, came close enough, but not enough to give us a retest on the key level. So we didn't miss it, but price kind of bounced away. And at the time, it felt like pound JPY would not come back to test the level of support. And this is the time where your patience, your discipline is tested, because you might fear that you might miss out on the move. Imagine waiting for a breakout in September, price pulls back in December, and you're not able to catch the move. But then it just shows how important it is to trade with your plan and follow your plan exactly how it was created. So we had the push to the upside, and now for some reason we had this pullback. Now this pullback was mainly followed by the fact that the Bank of Japan did raise interest rates in January to, I think, 1% from 0.5. Now from 0.5 to 0.5, sorry. So that's pretty interesting, right? And we saw the Japanese yen gain strength massively against its peers, and price came down to the support level. But of course, it is a key level, and that's where I picked up longs on pound GPY. Now I'm long here, and I would like to close my trades around 206. Now, will it take some time? Sure, it might take some time to play out, but I'd like to see how far pound GPY can go. Now, I really don't want to switch sides, but this is an example of what it means to just wait patiently for trades, right? Some of the trades that played out in the past year were held for like several months. Okay, I think pound 80 is an example, pound NZ is an example, right? So it just pays to hold trades. Now we don't really know how long some trades might take to play out, but it's important to just hold the trades. And yeah, it tests your patience, it tests your discipline. So these things kind of like build your skill as a trader, and I do think it's very important. But yeah, pound JPY is so far in profit, and I'd like to see where it just takes us. NZD-JPY, on the other hand, is trying to retest this level as resistance. Now, is this going to be a fall to the downside, or is this test just short term and will price break out? Right? It's the big question. This test, will it give us a downside move, or is it short term and are we going to see a breakout? Now, we're not so sure. If you're looking to sell NJ, with this retest, it might be an opportunity to take sales. But long term, I do not really see NJ going to the downside. Maybe in the short term, we might have this pullback, but in the long term, I don't really see much of that happening, at least because of some of these key levels that might hold price. Now, if we come back to the monthly time frame, just to have a better view of what we're dealing with. So take this out. So yeah, now at the start of this week, you can see the bullish candle. We tried to close above this support level, but so far we're failing, and that's because of severe weakness from the Australian dollar and as well the New Zealand dollar. So that's pretty much why we're not closing above. Now the month still has, I think, a week or two just before we end, so it will still be interesting to see if we get the break and the close above this level. So let's see how that plays out. Now USJPY as well. Let's see. Okay, so now we're testing as resistance so far. Now in my last update, when I dropped an update on USJPY, this candle was at the peak here, so it was kind of breaking back above the level when I dropped the update. But as we see, it kind of closed right at the key level. Now this indicates a bearish retest. As we see, it is very important that we say or we explain the chart for what it is. So at this moment, this is a bearish retest. Now price can drop to the downside following this retest, or just like NZD-JPY, it might be short term. All right. So only time can tell what would happen to USD-JPY. Now personally, I still lean into the long term, which is upside continuations. I do think that this year the dollar would gain strength over the Japanese yen recently, and so I still see upside continuations on USD-JPY. Coupled with the fact that the overall trend is still in play, and only if we get a downside move will this trend be slightly altered. So that's why I still have a long bias on USD-JPY. Now moving on to the card pairs. Yeah, interesting. So let me see. Yeah, so this is AD card, and as you guys know, I've been short since November of 2024. It's been some months. Now we had a serious push to the downside, but of course came the pullback because of the weakness from the Canadian dollar. Now, of course, we know that Canada has been affected by the tariffs, so that they've been suffering, or the currency has been taking a hit in recent times. But yeah, this is what we have so far. Today, the Australian dollar is weak, so we can see the effect here on AD card. Now, I'm still short. I still hold my short positions, and I like to stay short to see what happens eventually. Do I get stopped out, or will the market still continue to be downside? Now, I'm not sure what will happen right now. But if we look at price action, if we want to study price action to see what AD card has been doing in recent times. So we had a push to the downside, okay, which is more like an impulse. And after an impulse comes a correction, as we already know. Now, let's see. So this is more like a correction after this impulse. And at some point, the correction is supposed to end, and then the next impulse, the next impulsive leg is supposed to begin. Now, I think we looked out for shorts here. I think Carlos was short here on AD card. I think either AD card or NZ card, but it stopped out, which of course can happen because of our timing. But here's something interesting that can happen to AD card. We could see this play out. Okay, we could still see this play out. Now, the market pulled back, tested this level as resistance, but failed. But then we might see price break below it, test that resistance a second time, and then drop to the downside. Now, this is very possible, so we still have to keep our eyes um, very open for such scenarios. Now, if this would work out, then of course the downtrend still continues in play. Now, the question you might ask is, if the downtrend is going to continue, why price not just respect this level of resistance before dropping? And this is the part about timing where I've said that sometimes you don't always get your timing right, and it is not a bad thing necessarily. It is impossible to be so accurate on your timing every single time. So sometimes when you take losses, it's not necessarily because you were wrong on the trade idea, but maybe your the levels where you're looking at to sell from, the timing you're having is not right at the moment. These things can absolutely happen. So here for AD card, this is what I'm looking out for. We could see this happen. Now I would only switch sides and maybe think of longs if we break above. But so far, as long as we stay below this key level, I still am looking out for short positions on AD card. And then moving on. Euro card. So in our last update, we explained that we are not having the breakout. All right, so far we're not. Now, Euro card pushed as high as this candle, like the week you're seeing. So it was an attempt to break out, but so far it's failing, as we can see from the monthly time frame. Now we do know that we need the price to close above the key level to sort of confirm the breakout, and so far we're not having that. Now, imagine what will happen if I am looking out for a break and retest in this scenario. Now, it's not wrong necessarily, but if price had already given me the breakout on the money time frame, it adds confluence to any trades I'm looking for here. But because we are having a rejection on the monthly, trying to look for a break and retest on the daily would be a little confusing. So that is why I had the principle, making sure that we have a close, at least a monthly close above key levels. This adds confluence. And in cases where you have breakouts, it is not so regular, if that makes sense. So that is so far what we have um for Euro card. So here, moving on, pound card. Yes, pound card. So far so good. So we bought pound card sometime in February, and yeah, we are well in profit. Now our take profit is still far above 1.90, and I'm expecting a 1 to 6 on this trade idea. We've covered about 60% of the move, and we just have 40% left. Now I think pound card might correct a bit before continuing the overall move. That's very likely can happen, and I'm well prepared for that as well. But the point is, we bought here, and we're well in profit. So it's all about trying to manage the trade as best as we can, so that we can get um, the full return on this idea. And then moving forward, enter the card. So it's pretty much the same scenario with AD card, like I said. The bearish daily candle you're seeing is because of the weakness. So across board, you can see anywhere you have Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar, if you look at the numbers, they are in serious reds, right? And that's because these currencies are very weak at the moment. So here, coming back to NZD card, I expect the exact same thing. If this downtrend will continue, then even though the first retest did not work out, maybe price would be so generous, be so kind to give another opportunity to get involved. Now, I took short in October, and I stay short, and I like to remain short on NZD card. And yeah, let's see what happens. So USD card, that's not much. It's not much, to be honest. Now, like I said, I'm waiting for the pullback here, and it hasn't happened. So there's nothing to say about that. Euro AUD. Let's see what we have. Let's see. Sorry. All right, guys. Sorry, just give me a minute, bro. All right. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Let me quickly share my screen. Let's see. Okay, so can you guys see my screen? Just making sure.
Sure, sure.
All right, cool. So yeah, Euro 80 waiting for the pullback. Euro NZD. Where did he take profit on this one? It was a fantastic trade, right? We bought in October, closed out in March. It was a 1 to 5.7 about that, and it was a fine trade. So right now we need a breakout, and of course, as we see, we're not really having that in the near future. So there's not much to say about Euro NZD. Pound AUD, however, interestingly, is breaking out. As you see with the money candle, we're trying to break and close above the key level, which is interesting. An interesting price action. So we'll see what happens. I think, like we said, we will need the month to end just so that we can know what happens with these pairs. So pound AUD, we're expecting the breakout, or so far we're breaking out, and we need to see how the month ends before we look for an opportunity. And yeah, this is how we're looking at the daily time frame. Now, pound NZD, however, is looking very interesting. Now, we did breakouts in February, and we're pulling back. We have pulled back, in fact, and today we're bouncing. Where price is showing signs of respecting this level of support, which is very interesting. So I have particular interest in pound NZD. Now it may feel very rushed. I mean, buying pound NZD because it might seem like it's too high, and we just hit take profits in December. And now we're breaking out again. I mean, whatever the case is, this trade seems to be following the plan, at least so far. So if we come to the money time frame, we see that we closed above the key level in February, which is good, and now in March, we have the pullback, right? So price is pulling back to test the level of support, and not just test the level of support, but show signs that it is respecting this level of support. So I have become very interested in buying pound NZD, and I would be taking a long position sooner rather than later. Now, does this automatically mean that pound NZD is going to play out, is going to hit is going to take profit. Not exactly. We saw this happen with pound card, right? Where we bought in October and price stopped out first before now playing out. So it's not necessarily that pound NZD might just to go on to play out. But it is interesting that we're seeing an opportunity. So I would still love to take a stab at pound NZD. Now it's a really far level from here. I mean, the next level we're looking at, this would be very interesting. Let's see. All right. Okay, let's see. 6 months. Interesting. So, in fact, the next level where we expect to take profit is somewhere around 2.05. Now, that is about 2,600 pips. Now, this is such a wide level, and this will take quite some time to play out. But then it's interesting because I think this presents a really nice reward depending on how we get involved. So our entry on pound NZD will look something like this. Okay, something like this. Okay, so see this and now this. So this is what we're looking at, something like this. And all right. Then the big question will be: will pound NZD just, roll up the TP? I'm not sure if that happens, but whatever the case, this would be an interesting trade idea, and we'll like to see how this plays out. So yeah, either ways, if I'm going long, I would of course send this out in the community just so that everyone can go long as well. But yeah, we've seen that it's not really about the outcome of this idea, but that it fits the plan. All right, that's the enjoyable part of the process. This trade idea, in fact, fits the plan. So yeah, this is what we're looking at on pound NZD, and I'll let you guys know if I do get involved. Now, moving on, we have AUD NZD. I'm still short here, and I'd like to see what happens. We're already testing the level of resistance. That is this weekly level of resistance, and we're dropping. So maybe we would continue all the way to the key level. We have EU respecting this level of resistance, which is cool to see. As we have said multiple times, we have pound USD also having a little bit of resistance somewhere around these levels. Now, I'm not so interested in pound USD at the moment, at least until it comes down to give me what I was looking for. And then we have and then the USD. So I still think the dollar pairs have potential to drop, like to the downside. But yeah, we'll see. No entries for me on any of these pairs unless AD USD, which I have been selling since November of 2024. So and yeah, finally the CHF pairs. So AD CHF, there's nothing for me at the moment. CAD CHF, of course, I'm still short here. We'll have to see what happens eventually. US CHF, there's nothing for me. Pound CHF, same thing. NZD CHF, yes, I'm still waiting for the pullback, right? So like we said, I'd like to see a retest of this key level. If we do get a retest, then of course I would love to go short after the retest. And then USD CHF. Now a lot of us might be currently long on USD CHF at the moment. So I think it's time to ask a few of us. So I think George is long. I think he said that. But is any other person buying USD CHF at the moment? Just so we know what we're dealing with.
I'm currently holding USD CHF.
All right, so you're long as well.
Yeah, but I did not buy from where you posted the signal for some reasons though. So like I bought at a better price and my stop loss is a little bit lower. But I can see
Oh,
like the current daily candle is showing like a strong momentum, which is like a good sign of this. I
yeah.
can't share my screen on my phone, but let me just show you what my setup looks like. If
So, do you want to share your screen?
I'll just feel like uh, I'm sharing my camera because I'm on this call from my phone.
Uh, okay. Let's see how that works out. So, I think I'll just take mine out for a moment and maybe allow you share your screen. So,
Um, yeah, can you see my screen?
yes, yes, I can.
Yeah, and also I have a different target. I don't know, but I feel like this. I can see they have a little bit higher targets around this region. So, but
Yeah,
my target is here for now because this level seems very strong to me.
yes, it
So,
is.
yeah,
It is a strong level. And then I understand why you're looking to take profits at that level. It's a strong level. It's a strong weekly level. So yeah, you do
yeah,
have a
yeah,
better picture, which is cool. Very nice. You didn't exactly suffer any drawdown as opposed to some of us. But yeah, this is cool. This is cool to
yeah.
see.
But what I like at the moment is this strong candle that is forming on the
Yeah,
daily. So if that candle can close strong, so and this
very
is also
good.
like a double bottom, probably on the 4 hour time frame. So yeah, I see a lot of possibilities here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's my say on this pair. My say on this pair.
So sorry, I wasn't hearing you for a moment, but yes, the daily candle that we're seeing today is like is good. Makes sense. Because now we're forming like a double bottom around the level, which is pretty cool. And it just shows evidence that we're still trying to like respect the zone, right? So it's just
Yeah,
time. We'll see. Now, of course, it means that clearly the dollar has to gain strength over the Swiss franc. So it's now
yeah,
the question is what would potentially make the US dollar much stronger than the Swiss franc and also its contemporaries. So I think the next data that comes out, the coming data would kind of like give us a light on that. Now, first of all, the Fed in the United States they kept interest rates the same, which was pretty cool. It was not. It was pretty expected, to be honest. So that still gives the dollar strength. And the Swiss National Bank today, I think I kind of give an update on that. They
yeah,
cut
yeah,
interest rate to 0.25%. So it's kind of like a little divergence there. Now, if we don't just look at interest rate, that's not the only thing we look at, but there are so many other things that come into the picture. But the point we're making here is we might see more strength from the US dollar. Now, another thing we don't forget is that the US dollar is a safe haven in times of uncertainties. And yes, we are currently in times of uncertainties. So, yes, it's not a surprise to see, it will not be surprising to see the dollar gain even more strength. So yeah, let's see what happens. So I think this is the level you're speaking about, Yusuf. I get it. This guy. Now it's a strong level, like I said. It's a strong level, like I said. I have seen the importance of this level. Although I would like to think that price might have a stop at 0.94, which is I think at the 12 or 6 month key level. So yeah, either ways we'll see what happens. Okay. So this is pretty much what I have for currencies at the moment. So George, I think you're also long on USCHF. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm long on USD CHF.
Interesting. So I think you bought around the same level as I did because you said you suffered a little bit of drawdown, which also I mean
Yes,
most of us did. Most of us did.
yes. Yeah. Today, for good morning.
So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Then I like to see how this candle closes. It'll be very interesting to see that. So I don't know if anybody has any questions concerning like what we've gone through so far, the pairs, anything.
Yeah, so sorry, I have a question. Can we go back to NZD card? Is it NZD
Okay.
card? Or, or GBP? Yeah, GBP NZD, sorry, GBP NZD.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. The current level that you are looking at taking this trade. So like I've been trying to map out the level from the higher time frame, from the monthly time frame or 3 months, but I don't seem to get it very clearly. Like it's not very recent. So that is kind of confusing to me. Can you explain the level why it is a it is a strong key level that you are looking at? Because right now I don't see a level there. So, but maybe you can like explain it to me, or I'm getting something wrong. Thank you.
All right. Of course, I'll do that. Now, sometimes it can be tricky when trying to plot key levels. It can be tricky. Now, some of these levels are pretty close to each other. Other times they're not so clear. So yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes it can be very tricky. I understand. But yeah, of course, like I said, in some of our private sessions, I make sure to point out that we start on the highest time frame possible, right? So
yeah,
TradingView provides the 12-month time frame, which is what we do, and we look out for zones or places on the chart where the market reacted to multiple times in the past. Okay, so the more
okay,
touches, the more times price would react at such levels, the more importance we place to such levels. So looking at the 12-month time frame, now
okay,
you may not really see anything from this angle, right? But you do see that this red candle here closed right at this point, okay,
yeah,
in
yeah,
January of 2009, and then right here, the same thing happened, right? We dropped off from this level. We came back here, we maintained as resistance. We broke above, broke back in, we maintained as resistance, right? And here as well, in at the end of January, right? We also maintained the level of resistance. So
yeah,
this is the best we have on the 12-month time frame. So what we'll do now is to scale down to the 6-month time frame just to see if the level is any clearer. And yes, it is. So from a 6-month time frame, then you can now see 1996 and 1997, right? How price bounced off this level of support. Okay, then you can see this even clearer. Okay, the rejection and the bounce. Sorry, guys, hold up. It's just okay. Let's adjust this now. All right. So hold up. Let's see. Okay. So from the 6-month time frame, we have more color to the picture, right? So we have reaction here, reaction here, reaction here, twice here. We have this reaction, we have this one, we have this. So from the 6-month time frame, we do have reaction. Now this is not so clear because a lot of things happen here at the time. So we scale down a bit more to the 3-month time frame. And this is where we begin to see, okay, yeah, we did act like support here and here, right? The market tried to break here, it failed. It tried to break here, it failed as well. It did break here, respected as resistance before it broke above. And then it acted as resistance here again. So we look across board, and yeah, it does seem like the market had a lot to do around this price, right? So it is not
yeah,
exactly. So it is not surprising to relay importance to this level. So if we come down to the money time frame now, we can now see, okay, this reaction, right? We can see
yeah,
this one. We can see this one and this. So Now, one of the reasons why we start on the higher time frames is so that we're not too confused. Because if you are trying to plot key levels from the lower time frames to the higher time frames, you have just too many levels, and sometimes you can get really confused. I understand, it happens to me sometimes. So
Yeah.
to clear out any doubts, you just want to start on the higher time frames. So if you find a level on the higher time frames, like for example, the 12-month time frame, then of course that level has so much importance. Now, if we come back to pound NZD, back to 1980s, okay, and this was the
Yeah.
level that gave us confusion. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right. So this was the price action that gave us confusion on the 12-month time frame. Now, if you come down here on the monthly time frame, it's clear, right? Resistance,
Mm-hmm.
support, resistance. So it is this same level if we come back to the 12-month time frame right here. So in fact, price did react to this area in the past. And now think about this, right? This first price action was seen is it happened around 1979 and 1984, that's decades ago, right? So if the
Yeah.
market was particularly interested in this price, if banks, institutions had interest in this price decades ago, and we've seen that kind of pattern repeat itself, then don't we think that the level might be of importance today? It just might, right? So that is
Yeah.
why that is why we place importance on such levels. And now think about it. It was not a coincidence, right, that it was our take profit before now. It was not a coincidence that price hit there in December and price pulled back from that exact region, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when we see things,
Yeah.
and now this happened in December, this happened just a few months ago. So when we see things like this happen, it just adds confluence. Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes we miss the levels. It can happen, I agree, but it's very rare. It doesn't just always happen. It is just very rare. So that is why, since we now have the breakout, uh, I am now interested in trying to buy from here. So not necessarily that we would have this continuation, not necessarily. We might pull back and then
Mm-hmm.
consolidate and then break out the second time and another retest. That can happen. But the point is, so far, my setup is clear. It's here. And I said before that I am not a participant until I see a clear setup. And right now I'm seeing one. So I have no reason not to be a buyer of pound
Yeah.
entity.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
if the weakness from the New Zealand dollar continues and pound strength is there, I was supposed to post an update. I think the Bank of England interest rates the same today. So I'm supposed to give that update. So we're looking at what the central banks are doing in relation to price action. So maybe the show will continue. I don't know. Who knows? But the point is, I am very interested, and I will go long compound entity. Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense. Thank you.
Of course, of course. So yeah, any other questions? Do we have
Yeah, actually,
any other
hello, Casey.
questions? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, actually, I have another question entirely. So I've already asked about the question before something, but just in case of emphasis, I want to ask about the question again. So I want to ask that, will you trade two
Okay.
different conflicting pairs? For example, now let me just give you like, okay, let's say you are going long on euro pound. So
Yep.
you're expecting the pound to weaken against the euro, and at the same time, you are going
Mm-hmm.
short on at the same time you are going short on what's it called, on pound, where I think pound JPY. So that place you are expecting the pound to weaken again there against this what's it called, against the JPY. I don't know if you understand my question or something.
Yeah. I do. I
So
definitely
in
do.
what Okay, in one scenario, you are going long on euro pound. You're expecting the pound to weaken against the euro, and on another pair, you are, let me say, okay, on
Uh,
another pair, you are still going long on pound JPY. Yeah, hello.
okay.
So on the
I get your question.
on
I
the
get your
same
question.
scenario, you are still going long on pound JPY. You are expecting the what's it called, the pound to have
Yes.
strength against the JPY. So that's my question about. So
So your question is it advisable to do that?
Yeah, two different pairs that like that's quite conflicting or something.
Now, yeah, fine question. I'd like to point out that, like I said before, currency strength is relative. It's not fixed. Okay, what it means is the Canadian dollar can be weak against the US dollar, but might be stronger against the Australian dollar, right? So, can you long USD card and short AD card? You can, right? Because when you talk about currency strength, it's not fixed. It's not like um, when a currency is strong, then it must be strong across all pairs. In some cases, it is, but not every time. Okay, so I think it depends on the pair you're looking at and the context. But there's don't see it from a perspective that currency strength is fixed because it's not. All right, you can short you can go long on euro GBP, expecting the euro to strengthen against the pound, or expecting the pound to weaken against the euro. And at the same time, you can go long um, on pound GPY. So, for example, if the Japanese yen is falling really hard, falling really, really hard, and is very weak across board, and then the pound is weak, but not as weak as the Japanese yen, what will happen to pound GPY? What do you think will happen to pound GPY?
The point people will go forward. Like I think you have to go bullish there from there. Like it will
Exactly.
skyrocket. I think.
Exactly. Now, pound JPY will continue to the upside. Now, that's happening because the Japanese yen is very weak, especially against the pound. Now, the pound could be weak, right? The pound could be weak, but it is still stronger than the Japanese yen. I hope that makes sense. So, you could be buying pound JPY and then selling pound USD. Because, say, for example, the pound is very weak against the US dollar, or the US dollar is very strong, much stronger than the British pound. Now, pound USD will drop to the downside because of dollar strength and maybe pound weakness. But at the same time, pound JPY will move to the upside because even though the pound is weak, it still has more strength against the Japanese yen. So currency strength is very, very relative. Okay, I think that's the best way to look at it. Now, think about it, right? I'm looking to sell. I'm looking to sell ADCHF and then CHF, right? But I'm buying pound. I'm buying USCHF at the same time. So if you're looking at the Swiss franc and you're saying, okay, why am I selling ADCHF and NZCHF and CAT-CHF, but then I'm buying USCHF? You might think it's wrong, but it's not. In the sense that the Swiss franc can be stronger against the Australian dollar, but be weaker against the US dollar. So currency strength is very relative. I think it depends on what you're looking at, but for the most part, it is relative. So I don't know if that answers the question.
That answers my question. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, any other questions?
Please, Casey, can you go over to AUDCHF?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, ADC.
Please, let's see from a much higher time frame, like the monthly time frame.
All right.
I think this is the chart we talked about from our last section that
Yeah.
you're expecting this month candle to close below this key level. Then for April,
Yeah.
a retest, then for opportunity to go short.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Same
can
one.
see why you're not partaking. I can see why you're not a participant of the sales already, because actually
Yeah,
sold
because
this
it's interesting, right?
sold.
It's interesting, right? I
Yeah,
think
go ahead.
if you look at the daily time frame, it's interesting. So I understand why the question is coming up because this looks very solid, right? It looks like a solid sell. Um, we've tested once, we've tested twice. In both cases, we had like a bearish engulfing. So yeah, but strong bearish candle. So you're looking at okay, why can't I go short? Now it's not wrong. Okay, so like, I always make sure to point it out, right? It's not wrong. It's just not part of my system. So we might just see price down, right? We might not see price come back for another retest. It may not happen. The same thing with NZDCHL, right? Like these pairs were very tricky, if I'm being honest. Because like I told you guys, I sold NZDCHL in November, but I got stopped out. Now after getting stopped out, price continued to downturn. You see, it kind of broke out here. This retest in November was what I sold. But when I sold it, I was taken out first, okay? And then as you can see, the candle closed below the key level, right at the key level, and then the next candle just drops downside. So what I'm looking for now is like another opportunity to sell. But it's still tricky. But you see, at every point, I just make sure to follow the plan. Okay? So NZDCHF from here can just drop. It may not pull back for the retest. The same thing with ADCHF. Okay, so you need to understand. Okay? Now, personally, I don't have a problem with it. Right? I don't have a problem if ADCHF continues without me. I will not just sell if it is not part of my system. Okay? But this is just to help you understand that the fact that I am waiting for a price to close below the key level and then it retest doesn't necessarily mean that the market has to do that. The market may not, in fact, retest the level again. Okay? So this is not wrong to sell. It's just not something I would do.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, it's clear because my system actually allows me to sell at the second retest, like after the first retest, and I got involved there. Yeah, though NC, I'm actually also waiting for the pullback to the key level before I get involved as well.
Exactly, that's fine. And if I didn't have the rule, right? If I didn't have that principle, that monthly candle principle, I would have sold. Right? I would sell. It's not wrong. Okay, I'm just making sure it's clear that it's not necessarily wrong. I would have sold, but it's just now, like I said, the market will present opportunities every single day. You just have to know your onions, right? So if you don't know the exact kind of trades you take, that's when you become confused. And that's why I'm not taking this. Not because it's wrong. It's just not something I would take. I can't record the trade in my journal. Can't be in my track record. Nothing. So that's just why. I'll be making sense. But this is cool to sell. So this guy, I think, NZDCHL as well. These currencies are pretty weak. Pretty weak. So here, let's see what happens.
Well, I really think for NC there was no opportunity at all for sales for this NZDCHF. Maybe anyone that actually sold might be as a result of FOMO or something. For me personally, I see no reason I would actually get involved because price just to that level, but it didn't really test it. No, I mean at that point it was very close to testing the level. I think sometime next month or January. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I remember. So I also thought it was going to come for a proper retest, but it did not. Well, I mean, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Now, some persons, right, can just decide to do this. Again, like, today is very relative. So some person might have to do this. Now, if you look at this from this perspective, it was a retest. It was a test of like the lows of the day time, but it wasn't a test of the key level. Some persons might have sold up for that reason. Okay. Because
of course, for some reason, I started looking for the same, just the stuff you just did right now. I was able to add that to my chart.
So some person might have sold up for that reason. Okay, so that I'm just pointing out that you see that there was a retest. It was not just the key level, right? So it tested the lows of the support on the time frame, not the key level. That's why I said. Again, that's why I said some person might go short for reasons best known to them, but not me, right? Because I didn't have my reasons to sell. That's the difference. So yeah, any other questions?
Can you go how is it, please?
Okay. Yeah, on entity.
Okay, I can see that this like the retest we've been waiting for, because I have the exact same level you're having there, like the exact 2.3 you're having there, and I'm actually looking at taking longs on pound NZD, but I'm actually just curious because of what I'm actually in a dilemma because of what I'm facing on Eurocard right now. I actually took buys on Eurocard, but for some reasons I'm pretty much on drawdown. I think like 7% or something. So I'm just actually being patient to see what pound NZD will do for the most part before I
Uh,
actually get yeah.
okay, but how did you? Where did you buy your card? At what point did you get long?
Okay, okay. For Eurocard, I think you should go over to like much lower time frame, say the 4 hour time frame or the 2 hour time frame. Okay. At that for Eurocard, this exactly, that's actually what I looked at, and I got involved at that bullish engulfing. So that was actually where I got involved.
Oh, okay. I
No,
see.
no, no, no.
Okay, I get
Like
you.
the very last one, very last one
All right, here.
by the right. Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay. Now this is what I was saying about candle cruises. Now they're important to me because they kind of help me filter out some trades. And secondly, at the end of the day, price can still bounce here because this is like the key level. So we kind of sold above the key level, right? So ideally, your stop loss will be here, right? You want to put that below the key level because you might take a loss on your card, but then that's just price bouncing at the key level. You might just take a loss here, and then the market continues in your favor, maybe without giving you another opportunity to buy. So again, like it goes back to how we place our stops and the importance of levels. So buying here and your stop would want to be like ideally in a safe place. And that will reduce your reward, of course, but yeah, stops are much more important, right? So the market is, in my opinion, as we can see, is testing the key level on the daily time frame. So I don't know, we might still see an upside continuations. Maybe in the short term, we might. So I don't know where you place your stops, but um I don't know, taking a loss here it might just be, unless we have like a breakdown, like unless price like does this. But unless that happens, then the market might just consolidate here before moving to the upside. That can happen.
Okay. Please, can you look at? I think is it at JPY something.
Catch it, yeah. Yeah, this is catch it, yeah.
Can you go over to the thing, the daily time frame, please?
This is how we're making these things.
Okay. I think I'm actually planning on taking shots for card JPY, but I'm waiting for, I think that level there. I think yeah that's the key level. I'm actually waiting for that 136, 136.
So are you waiting for price to break below the level first, or
I'm just waiting for the pullback to the 136, because from my system drawing my fib level, it was actually in line to the level you're having there. Yes. So
Okay, sorry, I'm just making sure. You're looking at sales on CAD GPY, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so where do you intend to sell from? Like, where are you looking to get short?
Okay, okay. I'm looking at selling from that level you're having there. That's where I'm looking at selling from. Like a
Okay,
pullback.
this guy. Oh, you mean like the key
Yes,
level?
yes. I'm waiting for like a
Oh,
pullback to that key level.
okay, okay,
Then
okay. Now I get it.
yeah, then a confirmation, maybe a bearish engulfing. Then I will take the short for card
Okay, okay,
JP. Yes.
okay. Now I get it. Now I get it. All right.
I'm,
Let's see how
I'm
that.
actually
Now that will
I'm
take some
actually
time,
looking at
of
sell
course.
on CJ2.
Yeah, I think I understand why. Same level, right? So it's a break, a retest, or more downside. Um, okay, we'll see how that plays. Now that will take some time. We need a couple of
I'm actually
days, maybe
having
even weeks.
I'm looking at sell on CJ2.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that. So are you looking to sell from the
Yeah.
same level that Carlos is selling from?
Me, I'm having my retest here on this level here, on this on this ranging level. No, down. I'm having my resistance level here.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Like I'm having that. Okay, I'm having my retest here, and I had my entry here too.
interesting, very interesting.
Uh,
Okay, let's see, what happens. Okay, let's see what happens. Now, do you plan to sell here? Carlos plans to sell here. Um,
actually,
so
actually,
for Carlos to get an entry, yep.
yeah, sorry. Actually, personally, the level Abdul is saying is actually the level I have as my monthly level. Yeah, as my monthly key level at that consolidation level. But when price came to test it, and I did saw confirmation to go short, but I have to pick my fib from the higher low that you can see there. So picking my what was it called? Picking my fib from there, I saw that like the 61.8 level is somewhat around your 106 key level. So because of that, I actually missed the retest on this new level you just drew here, which I actually monitored the trade and it actually played out. I think a 1.2, but I saw that for some reason my stop was just at that key level, like the 106 that you're having there. So seeing all this stuff, I was just like, okay, I think I'm more confident with the fib 61.8 and also the 106. So that was why I didn't take the shots here. And currently, I'm expecting maybe a move to the upside a little bit, then confirmation to go short. That's it.
Okay, I understand. I get it. I get it. Now something else I want to make sure to point out is more like a reminder, but I do think we need it. Now, it's is making sure, like I said, our journals will tell us in a few weeks, as we record our trades, we need to see patterns, right? Then our last session should be even more interesting than it is because a lot of things will begin to pop up. But I do think it is important to make sure that our entry patterns are like the same, right? Treating every moment as unique. Yeah, every moment in the market is unique, yes, but um, our edge comes from the statistical pattern, right? Start and data. So if you are using a 61% field retracement, do you always use it? Now, just like I mentioned in our journals, every variable is important. Okay, every single variable is important. If you will take a bar today, but you don't use the 61.8% retracement level, and then tomorrow you use it, you're taking two different setups. They're not the same. You cannot classify these two traits as the same. The
Wait,
confluence
can you
is,
say that again?
I said, if you are taking a buy on any asset, a pair or an asset, and you don't use the fib level, like you don't place a fib retracement level as an entry reason or a confluence to buy. If you do that on a particular trade, and then the next day you then use the fib, you can't classify those two trades as the same. Now, here's what I mean. So, if for example, I was looking out for a break and a retest. Okay, and in this scenario, now if I use the fib, right, I just want to make sure this is in line. So Carlos made mention of the 61% retracement. So that's why I'm trying to use this. So if I would use the fib to classify an entry, so for example, Carlos had two levels, right? But he picked 106 because it lined up with the fib, right? He had two levels to sell from, but he picked 106 because it lined up with the fib. Now, if you would do that on CAD JPY, if you will use the fib because by adding the fib is like more confluent, right? So if you do this, you cannot classify these two trades as the same because, say for example, let's take this. Let's say there was another level just above this, right? And the market is coming out to test that first level, but then you're not buying from that level because you have more confidence buying where the fib lines up with the level, right? So if this would play out, you can't classify this trade as the same thing with the one you're planning to take. Why? Because the metric you're using, okay, it's important. The metric you're using to get involved with the trade has to be the same, because then you can track it. Because think about it: if you take 10 trades, and out of 10 trades, 5% out of 10, you use the fib retracement, right? You use the 61% retracement level to take the trades. And the remaining 5 times, you just bought or sold with the levels, right? If you did that, when you're recording the trades, maybe you'll find out that using the 61% retracement level, you're having like a much higher accuracy with the trades. So say, for example, out of the first 5 trades, you won one of the trades and you lost 4. So say you have a risk reward of 1 to 3, so you're down 1% after 5 trades. But then you have the 61% retracement levels for the remaining 5 trades, and then you won 4 trades out of 5. What would you do if you continue to take these trades, and then after a while you're taking 10, 20, 30 trades? You begin to see a pattern. You begin to see that, okay, the fib works better. Would you not then stick to the fib? If it gives you a much higher win rate, would you not then stick to the fib and use it? You would, obviously, right? So the point I'm making here is we cannot make them the same. I think it's a problem for most traders. The fact that we think it's the same kind of trade, we don't see it as different, but it is different. It is very different. So that's why if you look at my trade, every single trade I take has the exact same metric. The same thing across the board. So I don't have to differentiate the trades or track this like this, track that like this. I don't. But in cases where you use a fib as a reason to enter a trade, you can't classify that trade as the same thing when you don't use a fib to enter it. It's different. So if you didn't think that metric was important, it is. So if you use a fib as a reason to buy or sell as an entry pattern, then please, it needs to go on your journal. It needs to go on your journal, because then it helps you track. All right, we'll see more of these things, right? I think in the next few weeks, when we start to look at our journals, we start to review them, we'll see more of these things, right? All of these things I've mentioned, you get to see them. Okay? But yeah, Carlos, I hope this kind of like this reminder is like very helpful, because you didn't sell here because you expected price to come back to this level, and you chose this level because of the fib retracement you drew, right? So if you would use fibs to enter a trade, when you're recording the trade, you need to indicate somewhere along the line that a fib retracement was part of the confluences.
Yeah, sure. I always do that. Trades that I
All
take
right.
with fee, I always make sure I include it. But those that I don't take,
All right.
I don't include them. I state that I
All right. That's
entered
fine.
as a result of confirmation. That's it.
That's fine. So it's just very important. I'm just making sure. So if we don't think it's important, it is, right? You see times where someone would use 5 confluences to enter a trade, and in other cases, someone will use 2 confluences. They are different trades. The fact that you needed 5 confluences to enter a trade, and then in a separate trade you made 2 confluences, they might both play out, but they are not the same. I promise you, they are not the same. When you track your trades, you'd see the difference. All these things begin to just show. Okay, so again, you see the importance of recording, the importance of journaling. It's just, again, like I said, it's a non-negotiable. You cannot run away from it, quite frankly. So yeah, I think that answers the question. So any more questions? Do we have any other questions just before we wrap up today?
This is my question. For the Euro card, I don't know if maybe price get to continue to the upside. I don't really know. I can't say for certain that it will. Or it will probably stop me out. But on the may look at it, I can say yes that it's definitely not definitely like I think I'm like if you rate on a scale of 100, I'll be like 80% on the part that the trade will actually be a loss trade. Then maybe 20 for like okay fine, it would go to the upside. So my question is this: for the fact that maybe the first idea, because you do mention of timing, that our trade gets to stock out because of wrong timing. So maybe getting a confirmation to get involved the second time, would it actually be a wrong idea? Like, would they classify that as Russian trade, like wanting to get involved, wanting to get part because you missed the first one, and like the idea is still valid. So, what would actually be your take on that?
I do think that every trade idea you take according to your plan is valid. Okay, as long as it is according to your plan, it is very much valid. Now, it becomes a problem when it is not according to your plan. It is not in line with the system. So every trade that comes up according to your plan is, I mean, it is valid. You have no reason not to take the trade, right? I personally, let me give you an example. I do have a feeling that pound entity will not play out immediately. Like I kind of know that we're gonna get upside continuations, but I have a nagging feeling that we might move sideways for a moment before the move continues. But I'm buying either ways. I mean, the market doesn't give two shits about how I feel. So even though I have this nagging feeling, I am buying either ways. Now, what am I doing so? I'm doing so because it is a setup. I have seen my setup, so I'll take it. Right? So if you have a trade idea and it is set up, it is something you take, it is you've seen the pattern, it works out more times than it doesn't. Go ahead and take it. You will not consider that as having FOMO. FOMO only comes when you're going against your plan. So everything you do in line with your plan is no longer FOMO, right? Because FOMO means the fear of missing out. You can't really say you're having that fear of missing out because whatever you're taking is in line with the plan. So you don't have FOMO technically, if that makes sense. So the only thing I would say, the only concern I have is this. Now look at your idea on Eurocard, okay? You bought from a 4-hour level. Now, I just said before that the fact that you bought from 4-hour level, it is not the same trade as buying from a daily or weekly or monthly level. They are two different trades. think about this. This is your cut, right? And down here, this is the key level, right? If you are buying from this level, right? If you are buying from this level, I could say that this trade shares some similarities with CAT GPY. The similarity, like what makes it similar, is that you're trying to trade from a key level in both instances. Now, the trend is different, right? It's similar in the sense that you're trying to use a key level as your reason for entry, right? That's where you want to get involved. But now look at your entry on UCAP, the current entry you have. It is not the same. Like, what other trade idea would you compare this entry to? I made the entry on UCAP, right? So this, like, what I'm trying to help you understand here is what you did here on UCAP and what you're planning to do on CAT GPY is different. They're not even the same thing. But if you don't know that, you might record the trades as the same. I mean, they're just trades, but they're not. Because the reasons why you bought UCAP are not near the reasons why you want to sell CAT GPY. The levels you're using to enter, the trend is different. So these things matter. I don't know if that makes sense. Because, like I said, you're buying up a 4-hour level. It's not wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that it's not the same kind of trade with this. In fact, selling here, right? Selling here, as I'm doing current short here at the moment, right? Selling here and selling at this level is not the same thing. It's not. So again, we have to be careful. That's why, again, just it comes back to traffic, right? We have to be careful of the trades we take. Just make sure, if you would have a set of rules or principles, this helps you narrow down the kind of trades you take. If you have three entry patterns, just narrow them down into 3. If you have 4, if you have 5, just make sure you're able to categorize the trades you're taking. And that's why when we spoke about journaling, that column where we make sure to have our entry pattern. Okay, if it's a breakout, if it's a retest, if you're using a double bottom or a double top as part of the reason why you're buying, you need to include it. You need to include it. It's just stuff and data. That's how it works. You need to include it. It's very important. So, Carlos, I hope this makes sense because I just wanted to point out that your card and CAT GPY are not the same. Okay, so I just hope the point is clear.
Yeah, sure. It's very clear. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But I would love to ask why you said that you're having the feeling that pound NZD won't even play out. When you said that, it was actually quite funny to me. Like saying that to you personally, not even seeing us.
I'm just saying now. Yes, I'm human, right? I'm human. So I've noticed, right? I've noticed that when price hits a key level, right? When price hits a key level, sometimes when it breaks out and pulls back, it may not always just continue. Sometimes it will just move sideways and in the process stop me out. It can happen. It has happened to me in the past. So that's why I have that lagging feeling that pound NZD may not play out on the first go. A similar example is pound card. Right? This is pound card. I took a buy from here. It didn't take profit. It broke out. It came back to test. I bought it here. It pushed up, stopped me out, and I bought it again. Now this is happening on pound NZD. The same thing happened. So what I'm trying to help you understand is sometimes you can have a feeling, but now how I feel has nothing to do with what I'm going to do about the trade. That's different. So the reasons why I'm entering the trade has nothing to do with how I feel. It just is that my setup is clear. It is present, and I'll take it.
Okay, yeah, sure. I understand. Thank you.
All right. So
Yeah,
yeah,
please
any other questions?
can you I think we'll be wrapping up for today, or you're planning to go over to indices.
We don't really have much. They're still just pulling back. to be honest.
Okay.
That's what.
I'm actually short on S&P and Nasdaq. So I don't. Maybe you go over the chart, please.
You are short on the S&P.
Yeah, and the Nas.
Okay, so I think I know what you're trying to go short. It's a retest
Okay.
of this level, right?
Of course, of course. I think exactly at that level, and it's actually in line with the FIB level that I'm actually having. Same with NAS, but I think the level is just a whole lot of emotions there, because like for the past 2 days now, I've actually been like 80% and to stocking out, and it like come back respecting the zone there. So I don't know. I'm just watching.
Okay.
I'm just watching to see what the outcome would be.
All right. Now, goes back to our point, right? Now you're selling the S&P and you're selling the Nasdaq. These are not continuation trades. These are reversal trades. Do you realize that?
Yeah, sure. I realize
All right.
that
All right.
reversal.
All right. Cool. All right. These are reversal trades. They're not short continuation trades. So, in your journal, you just have to categorize that this is a reversal trade. Okay. Now, can this drop? They can absolutely. We are in an environment where it will not take much for most of the indices to continue to downside. Now, I'm not selling from here, obviously. But yeah, these are levels where we can expect these two pairs to drop. I think if we look at US 30, maybe we have a level here. I think we do um, something around this. Yeah, something like that. So maybe they'll drop, right? It's very possible, right? Maybe they might drop off, or maybe they might, I don't know, just move sideways. I'm not sure what these guys are about to do, in all honesty. So, but yeah, we'll see how that works. I think in our next sessions, we'll see what eventually happens with stuff.
Yeah, of course, of course. We'll see what happens.
All right.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, I'll do go ahead.
Yeah, please, I'm sorry. Can you give us a clear example of a continuation trade and reversal, this in a reversal chart? Like a clear example, because I see can't, maybe make a difference out of the two. This.
All right. So before us is US 30. Um, so if I was to do this, okay, we would have two entries on the chart. Now the first entry, which is this guy, is a clear continuation trade. It's a trend continuation. The trend is to the upside, the overall trend. All the time frames are like in one direction. So me buying here is me buying in the direction of the overall trend. But if I sell here, I am trying to catch a reversal to the downside, because selling here is not in the direction of the overall trend. So these two are different. This is a reversal trade. This is a continuation trade. They could differ in context sometimes, but for the most part, yeah, this is continuations. This is reversals.
Okay. You said the first one is continuation, right, and the second one is reversal. But what makes
Yeah.
the second one reversal? Because I think the market is trying to retest back on this, and it's been on the downtrend from the upside here.
Now, all right, what trend are we looking at right now?
We are
What's the trend?
looking at the uptrend. We are looking at the uptrend.
Exactly. So the overall trend is to the upside. This is a pullback. All right, this is a pullback in the overall trend. Now, you're taking what you're doing. Right, what you're doing is you're taking the context of this as a trend. Right now, on the 4-hour time frame, the 1-hour time frame, this would be a downtrend. But this is just a pullback in the overall trend. So at the end of the day, it's a reversal. You come up to the weekly time frame, and yeah, that's a reversal trade. That's not a trend continuation. Think about it, right? You have a double top, which is a reversal pattern. Price is trying to break the neckline and retest it. What a double top? It's a reversal pattern. So you're trying to take the retest of a neckline of a double top pattern. That's a reversal.
Yeah, yeah,
You get, right?
yes.
Yeah. So as long as it's not in the direction of the overall trend, it should cross off. Unless the trend clearly. Now that's why I said it differs in context. So unless the trend begins to change, clearly you see that okay, the trend is changing. So you use like key levels to kind of determine what will happen to the trend. Because the market pulls back down here and finds support, then of course the overall uptrend might just continue. So
Okay.
um,
What if a market is ranging between the support and resistance, and I'm trading the bounce?
then you're just trading the range.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah. So yeah, any other questions?
Sorry, Casey. I think I don't know if I actually asked. No, AUDCHF, please. AUDCHF. I was
Yeah, you did
expecting. Okay,
you
I
did
did
ask.
ask. I did. Ask. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, sure,
we
sure,
spoke
sure. I
about
said that I already took the shots. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
exactly. I think we spoke about that. So yeah,
Awesome.
sorry guys. I just remembered I had a conversation with Momo yesterday, and we're speaking about the bootcamp, the live webinar. So I'd like to ask, um, so how would we do this? How do you guys? How would you? What do you suggest we do? Um, bootcamp webinar. What do you suggest?
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the question?
I said I had a conversation with Momo, and we kind of like have either a webinar or a bootcamp planned out. So I'm asking, what do you guys suggest? Like, how? What do you guys suggest we do? A bootcamp, a webinar? I just want to hear your thoughts.
Uh, I think a boot camp would be pretty cool.
Uh, so, okay, yeah. Is everybody in line with that?
Yeah, we cool. We cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. So, yeah, I think we look at that in the works, and sometime in April we might set that up. Okay. So, yeah. Any other questions?
Uh,
Any questions just before we
can
All right.
can you take a look at gold?
go? Uh, spot vote. Hmm, easy. Yeah, gold is still high, still high, pretty much in uncharged territory, as some people call it. But yeah, I don't see much happening. Like I would not go long on gold, at least not now. Uh, so gold is moving. I think that's just it. I would not also sell. Right? So
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
sucks trying to find an entry. It just kept
yeah,
going up.
that's the thing. Yeah, it is. The sucks. It sucks. I promise. It sucks. Now think about this. I've been trading this trend since like uh the last entry I had was in January in April. Since then, I've not had like anything to go. So it sucks, right? It sucks to I don't know, just kind of know where the trend might be headed. I missed an entry in August here, but like I said, it sucks to know where the market might be headed and then not having an opportunity to like really buy or something. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's what it is, right? Gold is just one of those markets, like the other markets to find opportunities. So George, I think you
I
had a question. You must
Yeah,
you
yeah. I was asking about like today you posted a AU 200. So I opened my chart. Then I was looking at the key levels. So do you consider a 6 800 area as as another key level. 6818
Uh,
area.
6, 8. Okay.
Yes,
Let's see.
yes, yeah, on that area there.
6, 8, 1, 8.
Yeah, 6818. I think so. Yeah, 618. No, 61810. Yeah, yeah.
6, 1.
So, yes. No. 6810.
Uh, yeah, I think that might in a sense work.
Yeah, yeah.
6, 8. That might in a sense work. We did have some
Yes, yes,
reaction.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
was
That
looking at
that might that might yeah, that might in a sense work out. Yeah, we did. True. That's 11. Thank you for pointing that out. That's 11. I think I had that on this guy. Did I not? Okay, no, I did not. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, but this seems like 11. So it is, right? It is. I mean, without a doubt, it is. Yeah, but I think the market already like reacted to this guy. It's gone, right? So this was in November of 2023, right? So yeah, that's like a long time ago. Uh, let's see. So this is where I'm expecting, right? So if we pull back here and look to buy, we kind of already bounced like in August of 2024. So if it comes back, that'll be like another good opportunity to just get in, and I'd love to do that. So yeah,
All right. Thank you very much.
yeah. And I think Johnny, you were also about to say something.
Um, uh, I think I was.
And also, I'll be on Carlos. They were talking about cat GPY for sale. I'm looking at the opposite side of it. So that's why I was quiet listening to them as well. I'm looking
Uh,
for a
You're
buy.
looking at what?
Yeah, a
A
buy
buy.
opportunity. Yes, for the cat GPY. But I'm doing and Carlos was saying sell. So I was kind of confused there. Yes.
Now, yeah. I mean, I don't know where you're looking at to buy from, but no. Here's what I would do, right? For cut GPY, I am also interested in buying, but I need this to happen, right? So remember, if this happens, it's just another opportunity for me to buy again, right? I took a loss, but this will be another opportunity for me to buy. So this is where I would love to buy from. I don't know where you are expecting to buy from, or where you want to get involved. So I think that's
I'm
the
actually waiting for the same thing to happen to buy.
Yes,
yeah. This one,
yes. Well, yeah, Fibonacci also is in place, though. I don't know.
okay. So you are looking out for this.
Although
Yes,
I do,
yes, yes.
I do have my level where the other where I think it was Abdul. I think at the right at that resistance where price is right now. I have um a level right there. Yeah.
Okay, so you are looking at this.
Yeah, but I'm not short though. I'm waiting for it to actually break the recent low to look for
Oh,
shorts.
okay. Oh,
But I have two
okay.
biases right now. So if it breaks above, then I buy. If it breaks lower, then I sell.
So okay, I get it. All right. So yeah, that's for Johnny, and then George. So if you're waiting to buy, just like I am, then yeah, fine. This is what I am personally looking for. So I think the market will do what it has to do, right? So let's see. In the next coming days, we'll see what these pairs are preparing for us. And, take a look. Okay.
And one more. Are you interested in bias on silver?
Silver at the moment, no, not really. Um, no, not really. I think we have to break out. Like, if it does break out, then it becomes interesting, right? But if it doesn't break out, then no, nothing for me to learn. I was in love with silver, but like that was like months ago, right? to the past now. So if it breaks out,
I,
yep.
I actually have a level right at that support where price is right now. But on the daily.
Oh, okay. So here.
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I get it. Okay, so you pull back just to buy back to the key level.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this could work out as well. Now I think for the most part we're just maintaining high lows. So this is just really complete. But I'm not trying to catch a small move myself. I like to catch like big moves. But this could work out. This will really work out. And again, one thing with trades like this is it just has to be smooth, right? Anything like sideways movement can just affect your position, right? So if it just happens like it just pulls back and bounces up, then easy, right? It's just the mark. But if it comes down here and starts to move sideways, break out, break back in, then it becomes a problem. But yeah, I think we should not take our eyes off silver because gold is insane at the moment, right? Now silver is kind of expected to like test the key level and respect as resistance. But if it does break, I mean that would be interesting, right? It could also have like a serious run to the upside. It could. So we should not neglect that. So
I guess the other scenario would it just dumping from that resistance.
exactly, that's something else. Now I'll personally not sell. I don't really sell at resistance, right? So I'll personally not do that. Yes, I know some persons who are short on silver who are trying to like hedge by selling silver, and they expect this drop to happen. I do know some persons who are confidently selling silver. Yeah. Yes, I think that's about it. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions you have?
But do you trade stocks too or no?
Stocks, yeah, I do. But now I have a different system with that. Like I said, I'll bring most of these things up in the coming months. But yeah, I am looking to come back. I did in the past, and I'm looking to actively come back to play stocks. Yes, I do play stocks. I do play stocks. So,
Nice.
and yeah, cryptos too. Well, like I said, there's so much to talk about, and I'm not trying to like just bombard everyone with so much information right now. But yeah, cryptos, stocks, equities, even commodities. For example, I think I missed an opportunity on natural gas. Yeah, this guy. So the first opportunity came up in December. The second came up in February. But I think I missed it. Like when price pulled back to the key level, I did take buys. So kind of like moved without me. So I think this is like another missed opportunity for 2025. I didn't speak about it before now because I don't think I've ever posted a chart on natural gas, which is why I didn't really stress it. But yes, a bunch of everything to be honest. And, yeah. So
Okay,
Yeah, that would have been a
let's look
nice
at
buy.
US
yeah,
US oil. US oil. Let's see. US oil. Now I was thinking to go long. Yeah.
yeah. I'm also thinking of going long, but not right now personally. Not right now. So I have my key level down here. So I'm going to go long on US oil. This is where I love to do so. But yeah, so far I'm not really trying to do that at the moment.
Okay. Casey, then my level is like above your own. So am I on the right path or what?
Let's see.
My
Let's
my
see.
support level.
Now I think you can do this, right? This is a support level, right? You can do this, but I think it differs from the key level.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So this is a support level. Yes,
Yes. Okay.
that's not. Yeah, it's a clear support level. But I would want to take my longs from the exact key level. I don't know. I have some obsession with it. So, it's a support level. Price it can bounce up, true, but personally, I would love to take my buys off the key level. So let's see how that works out.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Of course. So yeah, any other questions?
Wait, did you go over GU? I forgot.
Yeah, we did pretty much the same thing like EU. They are both are like some here, just here. That's the current cost. So
Yeah, on GU, I'm kind of just waiting for a break below for sells.
okay, well, like which
So I have my level on the, if you look at the 1 hour
oh okay.
and the 1 hour, I have it like right at those rejections, the rejection wicks.
Here.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
A little lower. I have it a little bit lower.
Okay, here, something like this. So
I'm either waiting for, well, actually, I have 2 levels. One at the little resistance, and then one at the support. At the previous price.
we're up down, we're
Yeah, it's more like a smaller zone though.
oh well, maybe I can't exactly see.
If, um, okay, you see where price is right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have my resistance right there at the top of the.
Okay. Like here. Oh,
Yeah, right there, right there. Yeah,
okay. Okay.
yeah. So I'll just be. I think I'm looking for buys above that level.
That sells below this support.
Yes.
All right, we'll see what happens. Today's what Thursday. I think we have just tomorrow. This until the weekend.
But it is bullish, so I don't know.
Yeah, at the moment. But then I think if the dollar gains strength just like it did today, then most likely we're going to have most likely.
Yes.
So yeah, that's all right. Yeah, thank you guys for showing up. Yeah, any other questions? Just looking for any other questions just before we wrap. Okay, so right, in the absence of any questions, then yes, thank you so much guys for being present today. I appreciate all the questions and the exchange so much value in the session. So our next session, of course, will be Monday. So I'll be here same time, 15, and I'd love to see you guys. But you guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you guys in our next session. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Casey.
Yes.
Wait,
Thank you,
well,
sir.
one more question.
All
Are
right. Yeah.
these streams recorded or no?
So what?
Are these recorded or no?
Yes, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but our live sessions from now will be recorded because I think they'll be posted on like our YouTube channel. So yes, this is a recorded session, and I think
Okay.
frequent sessions from now will be recorded as well. So all right. So yeah,
Okay.
once again, thank you guys for shit. How what?
How would I be able to access?
I think it'll be posted on YouTube. I'm not sure yet, but I think the plan is that it'll be posted on YouTube. So you might just go and watch that later if you need to.
Okay.
So I think the weekly calls. I think the plan is the weekly calls and the live sessions will go on YouTube. I think that's the yeah. So I don't know if this particular session will be posted, but this is just like an idea. So let's start now with just see how it looks and know what to do about it. Okay. But yeah, our frequent sessions will be recorded. That's the point.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So yes, I'll see you guys on Monday. Okay. You have a wonderful evening.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Of course. Anytime.
All right, thank you for the session.
Of course, man. Of course, you're welcome. Anytime.